Welcome to our channel of IGNOU Audiobooks, Indira Gandhi National Open University, School of Tourism and Hospitality Service Management, SOTHSM. Diploma in Tourism Studies, DTS. TS5 Ecology, Environment and Tourism. Block 1A Environment, an Introduction. Unit 3 Biomes of the World. 3.0 Objectives. After reading this unit you will be able to 8. Understand the concept of biomes. 8. Know about the major terrestrial and aquatic biomes of the world as well as about the R.I. biomes found in our country. Understand the relationship between climate and biome types. 8. Identify the main features of each biome. Introduction. In the earlier unit we examined the interaction and interdependence of biotic and abiotic components of an ecosystem. We also learned that life exists only in the biosphere, and within the biosphere there are diverse types of landscapes, vegetation and animal associations. Some areas may be covered with lush green forests while others may be bare deserts or covered with snow. What determines these variations on our planet? In general we observe that the climate of these regions is different and that regions with similar climatic, topographical and soil conditions often share similar kinds of plant and animal associations. Let us explain this with the help of an example. A tropical rainforest in Kerala has tall trees with large leaves with multicolored birds and butterflies flying through them. Thousands of miles away the tropical forests of South America or Africa look the same. Though on close examination the species of trees, birds and butterflies may be different from that of Kerala. Ecologists call these large, distinct, easily differentiated formations or communities having distinct flora and fauna biomes. Biomes are generally recognized by and named after the dominant plant species or community. When we talk of the biomes of the world we must remember that the major community formations include the continents as well as the waters of the oceans, rivers and lakes. Therefore, in this unit we will describe the terrestrial biomes as well as the large aquatic biomes. Seldom the boundaries between two adjacent or neighboring biomes are discrete or distinct. Instead they blend with the neighboring biomes through a transition zone known as ecotone. This transition zone between two biomes generally has high species diversity and density as compared to any of the neighboring biomes. In this unit we describe the major biomes of the world and subsequently of the Indian regions. We describe briefly the physical conditions and the biological communities of specific biomes. Reading through this unit will give an understanding of the diversity in the biosphere and set the stage for further discussion on the impacts of human intervention. In later blocks, 3.2 Terrestrial biomes of the world. As we have said, lie the primary factors that influence the formation of these biomes are climatic, like precipitation, temperature, seasonal extremes and DNDS. However, topography and light are also important factors. Of all these, precipitation is the chief limiting factor that determines whether a biome would be a forest or a desert or a grassland. If the average annual precipitation in the region is less than 25 centimeters, the place would be a desert containing little vegetation. This would be true regardless of average temperature, light and quality of soil. If a region has moderate average precipitation, around 25 to 75 centimeters a year, grasslands would be formed. A region would be a forest if the average annual precipitation is more than 75 centimeters. The combination of average temperature and average precipitation, however, decides the type of desert, forest or grassland present in a region. Terrestrial biomes tend to be arranged according to particular latitudes in the northern hemisphere. Interestingly, at any given geographical location you would find that the climate and vegetation change as the altitude changes. Therefore, we find that at the foot of a mountain there would be complex vegetation, and as we go up the slopes of the mountain we find the vegetation becomes sparse till we reach the moss and lichen dominated tundra-like regions at the top of the mountain. Now let us suppose you had the time and the resources to travel around the world and I plan to start your journey from the North Pole towards the equator. Let us see in a general way the biomes that you would encounter. You could start your journey of the biomes of the world from the blocks of ice floating on the sea about the North Pole. This is a cold barren place. As you travel southwards you would reach Arctic tundra where the sea meets the land, which represents the northernmost biome. As you travel further south towards the equator, the biomes you would pass through would be taiga, coniferous forests, temperate deciduous forests, deserts, grasslands, and finally the tropical regions of the planet. Let us study briefly the main characteristic of each major world biome. Starting Y till the H, the tundra, which is the least complex of all biome. 3.2.1 Tundra. The northernmost biome on our planet is the Arctic tundra. It lies as a treeless wet circumpolar band between the polar ice caps and the forests to the south. The predominant plants are lichens, grasses, sedges and dwarf woody plants. Despite the lack of trees, animals are found on land, in air, and nearby oceans. Similar communities are found at high mountains of all latitudes, forming the alpine tundra. The climate is very cold with a short growing season. The soil is frozen for most part of the year, and only the top 0.5 meter melts during the short summers in Eurohe. Arctic tundra. The permanently frozen soil below is known as permafrost. In summer you might see huge herds of caribou, flocks of waterfowls and swarms of mosquitoes. With such a harsh climate, it is not surprising that only a few kinds of plant and animal species are found here. Though, in the short growing season moss, lichens, some grasses and fast-growing plants dominate the landscapes. Swarms of migratory birds invade the tundra in summer to raise their young and fly south as the summers comes to an end. Some of the common permanent residents are musk ox, polar bear, grizzly bear, wolves, snowy owl, Arctic hare, weasels, minks, etc. Tundra is a very fragile ecosystem as the rate of organic matter decomposition is very slow. Therefore, plants grow very slowly and the tundra takes a long time to recover from any disruptions. 3.2.2 Coniferous forests and taiga. As you travel south from the tundra you will enter the circumpolar belt of coniferous forests, which stretches across North America to Eurasia. This region is called taiga, a word derived from Russian word meaning primeval forest. The taiga is a land of lakes, bogs and marshes. The climate is cold with long winters and short summers. The dominant trees are conifers, like spruce, pines and firs with needle-like leaves, that can survive extremely cold winters. Typical animals found in this region include moose, wolves, lynx, bears, great jays. Many of these rely on their stored body fat for survival during the cold months. 3.2.3 Temperate deciduous forests. Going south of taiga you would reach the temperate regions of the planet. These regions experience moderate temperatures on average that change during 4 distinct seasons. They have long summers, not too severe winters and abundant precipitation spread over the whole year. These regions are dominated by broad-leafed deciduous trees such as oak, hickory, maple, poplar, beech, sycamore, etc. that can survive the winter by dropping their leaves and going into a dormant state. Temperate regions are the most productive areas of the world with the best agricultural lands. You would recall that the tundra soils are poor because of extremely slow rate of decomposition of matter, but in the temperate regions the decomposition rate is controlled. 3.2.4 Temperate shrublands. These are areas where woody shrubs predominate rather than trees. In regions with a Mediterranean type of climate, i.e., hot dry summers and cool wet winters, shrubs grow close together having typically leathery leaves. Remarkably similar shrublands are found in the coastal mountains of California in USA and in Chile, at the tip of Africa and southwestern Australia. However, in USA such communities are called chaparral. Fires are of common occurrence and plants and animals have developed adaptations to these special habitat features. 3.2.5 Grasslands. In the northern hemisphere grasslands are found over large areas in huge plains. Such grasslands are known as prairie in North America, steppes in Asia and pampas in South America. In Australia grasslands cover an area almost equal to the area of the desert in the country. Grasslands often fade away into deserts. Annual rainfall in areas dominated by grasslands is between 25 to minus 100 centimeters depending on temperature and seasonal distribution. Grassland occur where rainfall is less to support forest and more than desert. Another factor that prevents penetration of forests into grasslands is the frequent occurrence of natural fires. Grasslands provide natural pastures for grazing animals. The soils under grasslands are rich and fertile. Most of our present-day food plants, cereals, have evolved from wild grasses by the process of natural selection, and it is one of the most important genetic stock for plant breeding research to develop new food species. Grasslands can be divided into three categories depending on the basis of relative height of grasses: tall grasses, 1.5–2 meters, mid grasses, 30 to 60 centimeters, short grasses, 3 to 16 centimeters. Grassland biomes generally support large number of herbivores, whereas carnivores are very few: coyotes, weasels, badgers, foxes, owls, and rattlesnake. $3.2.6 Deserts. In your tour across the temperate zone, you would find some regions lying between mountains and grasslands that are too dry and hostile to life. These are the deserts. If you continue to travel southwards as you approach 20 inches to 30 inches north and south latitudes, you will encounter deserts. Deserts bring up the image of inhospitable places, but actually they are quite varied. The world's largest desert is the Sahara, followed by the Great Australian Desert. These have the driest environment with less than 30 centimeters rainfall, sometimes higher, but unevenly distributed. In deserts, day temperatures are high, rainfall and humidity is low. But there are cool northern deserts too where winter snows are common, e.g. Tibet and Bolivia. However, all deserts exhibit dramatic day and night temperature variation. The soil is sandy or salty soil. The driest deserts, the Sahara, where the rainfall is less than 2 centimeters per year, support little life. But the less extreme deserts have highly specialized life forms. Three plant life forms are most adapted to the desert environment. I. Annuals that avoid drought, growing when there is adequate moisture. I.e. Succulents, e.g. cactus, that have adaptation for water storage and avoid water loss. E. Hardy desert shrubs, having short stem, number of branches and thick leaves. The animals of deserts are primarily arthropods, reptiles, birds and mammals. Large animals are uncommon. Small rodents are the most common mammals, along with small foxes. Among the herbivores, insects are dominant. A number of insectivorous lizards are very common. However, most animals restrict their activity to early morning or after sunset. Desert soils are rich in nutrients, but water is a serious limiting factor. If water is supplied or made available to desert biomes, they can attain very good production because sunlight is abundant. 3.2.7 Tropical savannas. Leaving the deserts, as you approach the tropical regions of the earth, you will enter the savanna biome, which is a combination of grassland with scattered or clumped trees. These special kinds of grasslands often border tropical rainforests. The climate is warm, having 100 to 150 centimeters annual rainfall, with prolonged dry season in which fires are common. The rains are erratic. These grasslands have scattered trees that do not form canopy in any part of savanna. Trees are up to 20 meters height, with thick, deciduous or evergreen leaves. Grasses may attain height of 1 to 1.5 m and support a great variety of grazing animals. The largest savanna is found in the African continent. They also occur in Australia and South America and cover nearly 8% of the Earth's land. The most prominent animals of this biome are large grazing animals such as giraffes, antelopes, elephants, buffalo and predators such as lions and cheetahs. 32.8 Tropical deciduous forests. Before reaching your final destination, the equatorial regions, you would encounter the tropical deciduous or seasonal forests. These are also known as monsoon forests, found in Southeast Asia, in Central and South America, Northern Australia, Western Africa and the Pacific. Rainfall is high, sometimes higher than tropical rainforests, but seasonal. There are pronounced wet and dry periods, and so are winter and summer seasons. The soils are brown in color and rich in nutrients. Vertical stratification in the vegetation is somewhat simple with a single understory tree layer. The trees lose leaves in one season but ground vegetation remains evergreen. Teak and sal forests are good examples of this type of biome. Trees are of 20 to 30 meters height, sometimes reaching a height over 40 meters in this biome. Bamboo is also one of the climax shrubs in these areas. 3.2.9 Tropical rainforests. As you approach the equator, the climate becomes increasingly hot and seasonal variation in climate decreases, resulting in practically the same climate throughout the year. This tropical region abounds with life and thousands of species of plants and animals can be seen. Though no species predominates, tropical rainforests are found on both sides of the equator in South West Asia, Africa, South and Central America, Northeast Australia. Both temperature and humidity are very high and constant. Rainfall exceeds 200 centimeters a year and is distributed over the year. Soil is nutrient poor because in spite of the high rate of decomposition, the nutrients do not remain in the soil. They are absorbed rapidly by plants or the rains wash them away, thus making the soil virtually useless for agriculture. Tropical rainforests cover about 7% of the Earth's surface but house approximately 40% of the plant and animal species. Plants of tropical ZN forests are both familiar as well as strange to us. Familiar because most of the ornamental plants grown in our homes and offices come from the tropics. There is a distinct stratification of vegetation in rainforests. The dominant plants in these forests are tall, 25 to 30 meters high with slender trunks that branch only near the tops, forming a dense canopy of leathery evergreen leaves. The canopy blocks out most of the light, therefore, the forest floor is fairly open. Whatever the time of the year, some trees are flowering and some bear fruit. Epiphytes and liana are very common. Wherever there is a gap in the canopy, a thick many-layered ground vegetation consisting of bushes, herbs, shrubs, ferns, mosses etc. can be seen. An incredible number of animal species thrive in this biome, many of which have become adapted to life in the specific layers of the canopies and subcanopies. Amongst animal species, insects and birds are particularly abundant. On a very small island of 6 square mile, Barro Colorado, of Panama, there are 20,000 species of insects. Fruits and termites are staple food of animals in rainforests. There are large varieties of colored birds such as hornbills, parrots and lucans, as well as monkeys and predatory cats that inhabit this most interesting biome. 3.3 The aquatic biomes. If you look up a world atlas or a globe, you would notice that most of the Earth's surface is covered by the waters of the oceans, about 71%. Beneath the water surface is a fascinating and world of a wide variety of habitats and living communities comparable in diversity to the terrestrial biomes but different enough from them to seem to belong to a different world altogether. The main factors affecting the type and numbers of organisms found in aquatic ecosystems are water salinity and depth to which sunlight penetrates, amount of dissolved oxygen and temperature of water. Salinity levels are used to gauge the waters all in Earth into two categories, freshwater and marine. We shall first consider the freshwater biomes. 3.3.1 Freshwater biomes. Low levels of dissolved salts characterize the freshwater biomes. The salt content of fresh water K about 0.005%. The freshwater biomes consist of inland bodies of standing water like reservoirs, ponds and wetlands, as well as the flowing waters of the stream and rivers. A lake or a body of standing waters can be divided into three zones according to penetration. One of sunlight in the water body, littoral, liminetic and profundal. Each of these have their own physical chemical feature, and characteristic array of living organisms. The open water zone is called the limnetic zone. This represents the zone or depth of the water up to which sunlight can penetrate. Phytoplankton along with algal forms, various zooplankton species and fish abound in this zone. The deep water zone lying below the limnetic zone is called profundal zone. It is relatively cool and dark, having low dissolved oxygen content and is inhabited by fish which can tolerate such stressful conditions. The Bottom of the lake is inhabited by bacteria, fungi, bloodworms and other decomposers which live on dead plants, organic matter including remains of animals and their metabolic wastes. Precipitation that does not evaporate or penetrate the soil remains on the soil surface, resulting in runoff which flows down from the mountains in the faunae of streams and rivers, which ultimately discharge into the sea. The downward flow of the river comprises of 3 phases. The first phase, when the stream with cold clear water rushes down steep slopes having high dissolved oxygen content. In the second phase the stream flows over gentle slopes and through wider valleys. Here the temperature of water is warmer and supports a wide variety of cold water and warm water fish that require slightly lower dissolved oxygen. At the point where river discharges into sea, the river may divide into many channels, forming the delta. Rivers and brooks which are flowing freshwater bodies differ from lakes and ponds in 3 major aspects. 1. Current is the major controlling and limiting factor. 2. Land-water interchange is greater because of the smaller size and depth of moving water systems. 3. Oxygen is always abundant except in case of excessive pollution in river stretches. Plants and animals living in streams and rivers are usually attached to surfaces. The free swimming animals are exceptionally strong swimmers. The freshwater communities are utilized as a major source of food, for recreational purposes, and for waste disposal as well as waterways for transport. In this manner we exert a significant impact on individual freshwater ecosystems and their communities. 33.2 Marine biomes. The marine biomes consist of the Earth's oceans and its associated areas like the shorelines, islands, reefs and estuaries. The marine waters contain about 3.5% salt, mostly sodium chloride, and the organisms inhabiting these waters are profoundly adapted to these salty conditions. As land livers we generally think of the Earth as being mostly land and tend to forget that 71% of the surface of our planet is covered by oceans. In fact, often our planet is referred to as the water planet. Oceans. The oceans play a major role in determining the climate and sustaining the life on Earth. Oceans help to redistribute the solar energy through ocean currents and evaporation. They are huge reservoirs of carbon dioxide, oxygen and other minerals and help to regulate the ambient temperature and also help in maintaining atmospheric composition and serve as sources of various natural resources. The world's seas and oceans are all interconnected, forming a world ocean. The average depth of the ocean is 3.7 kilometers. In some parts of the world the ocean is 11.5 kilometers deep. Compare this with the height of Mount Everest, that is 8,848 meters above sea level. Most marine life is found in the shallower regions of the ocean and seas along the continental shelves, coral reefs and oceanic islands. Life at greater depths is limited by darkness, cold temperatures and pressure. Animal life at great depth comprises mainly of scavengers and predators that feed on the detritus, rain and dead organic matter. The food that supports the large and diverse communities of the ocean is still the rod used in the open water by phytoplankton. In upper regions of the ocean where sunlight can reach, the average depth of the lighted zone of the sea is 200 meters in clean areas. The marine habitat faces destruction due to pollution and resource use. Shorelines and open waters are subject to human activities such as fishing, recreational use, real estate development, garbage and effluent disposal, oil spills, radioactive waste disposal and exploitation of marine natural resources. Shorelines, oceanic islands and reefs. Ocean shorelines include rocky coasts and sandy beaches that are particularly rich in diverse life forms. Rocky shorelines support a diversity of organisms that grow attached to some solid substratum. Sandy shorelines provide home to organisms that can live in burrows in sandy substratum. Sandy beaches are important in our context as some of the finest tourist resorts and residences are built along them. Oceanic islands are interesting and somewhat specialized biomes. Islands which have broken away from the main continents have similarity of flora and fauna related to the continental source. Volcanic and coral islands show results of chance colonization. Coral reefs form in clear warm tropical seas and are particularly well developed in the South Pacific. They are formed by accumulation of calcareous skeletons of tiny colonial animals called coralloidal over generations. Coral reefs usually form along the shallow submerged shelves and their depth is limited to a depth up to which sunlight can diffuse. Coral reef communities in terms of species diversity, number of organisms, brilliance of colors and interesting life forms are comparable with tropical forest communities. Wetlands and estuaries. Biomes in the world. Wetlands and estuaries are transitional biomes. Land that remains flooded either part of the year or permanently with fresh or salt water is known as wetland. Bogs, swamps, marshes are covered by freshwater and found inland. These are known as inland wetlands. Those found on the coast and covered by seawater are known as coastal wetlands. Wetlands provide a variety of FD and wildlife and are major breeding, nesting and migration staging areas for water birds and shorebirds. Importance of wetlands cannot be underestimated as they act as an LNI reducing line traps and filters for water that moves through them, reducing flooding. As a result, sediments are deposited and chemical interactions in wetlands neutralize carrot and detoxify substances in water and slow seeping of water into the ground helps to replenish the underground water reserves. Estuaries are enclosed or semi-closed bodies of water formed where a river meets the sea, forming an area of mixed fresh and seawater. Estuaries usually contain rich sediment-forming mud flats. The estuaries are very productive areas with high species diversity. They are important nurseries for ocean fish including all economically important fish and mollusks. The estuaries extend inland to form the coastal wetlands. In temperate areas, coastal wetlands usually consist of a mix of bays, lagoons and salt marshes, while in tropical areas we find mangrove swamps dominated by mangrove trees. The mangrove forests consist of evergreen, broad, leaf trees growing in brackish water in tropical areas. 3.4 Biomes of India. India can be divided into 10 biogeographical regions as described by Rogers and Pamwar. 1988. You are already familiar with the typical characteristics of the various biomes that you have read in the section on biomes of the world. Some details of these biomes are given after the table. 1. Tundra. This biome is restricted to Ladakh region, extended up to part of Sikkim and Bhutan. There is alpine vegetation in parts of NW Himalaya, western, central and eastern Himalaya, on higher altitudes. Tundra vegetation consists of low shrubs and grassy meadows with a typical fauna of tundra region. 2. Temperate coniferous forests. This biome is restricted to 1,600 meters altitude on the Himalaya and Nilgiri mountains. The coniferous trees attain the height of 20 to 25 meters. Pines and oak forests form the climax vegetation in this biome. 3. Tropical evergreen rainforests. This biome exists where rainfall is very high, over 250 centimeters per annum. This biome is seen in Western Ghats, Assam, West Bengal, and in part of Andaman's islands. There is great diversity of species in this biome. Here are many stories of trees of varying heights, shrubs, herbs, epiphytes, lianas. Thick evergreen vegetation become impenetrable. Apart from woody evergreen species of Dipterocarpus, Hopa, Artocarpus, etc., there are MQNY fruit trees like mango, mangifera, Avla, Emblica, etc., and a number of climber species. Tropical moist semi-evergreen forests are seen in northern India only. In this biome, trees shed their leaves for a brief period of time. There are few evergreen species, such as A. carpus, Micalia and Eugenia, mixed with deciduous species like Terminalia. Shora, Sul. 4. Tropical deciduous forest. It can be divided into two parts. A. Tropical moist deciduous forests. This is common in Kerala, Karnataka and Madhya Pradesh as well as part of UP, Bihar, Bengal and Orissa. The forests are closed with dense canopy. Well-known sal and teak forests are good examples of this biome. In Karnataka, sandalwood forests come under this category. B. Tropical dry deciduous forests. This biome is restricted to UP, Punjab, Bihar, and Orissa. In this forest type, there are trees of moderate height with wide open canopy. Thorny scrubs. Grasses, bamboo with dominant trees like Imli, Terminalia tomentosa, Kikar, Acacia, Avla, Emblica, mixed with Sal, Shora, and Chirungi, Bachababua, trees are characteristic feature of this biome. Fauna of both these biome is common and similar as described in tropical deciduous forests earlier. 5. Savanna. There is no true savanna biome in India as in Africa and part of Australia. But Misra, 1983, was regarded all tropical grasslands of India as savanna. In savanna, there is grassland vegetation with scattered trees and shrubs. There are tropical grasslands with mixed acacia, mimosa, ziziphus, phoenix and calotropis species. 6. Grasslands. Indian grasslands are not true grasslands as of America and Canada. Always there is mixed growth of trees and shrubs. Some of the scientists have termed it as savanna as described earlier. There are 8 types of grasslands based on dominant species. This biome is widespread from northern to southern and eastern to western part of the country. 7. Desert. This biome is in parts of Rajasthan, Punjab, Kutch and Gujarat. It has typical climate of desert with hot and dry summer and cold winter. Rainfall is between 30 to 70 centimeters, and in some regions as low as 10 to 15 centimeters only. Acacia arabica, Kikar or Babul, is the dominant shrub. Recently, some species are being planted in deserts such as acacia species, Parkinsonia, Sachasur munja, Tamarux, Prosopis sp, etc. India is a vast country with different climatic regions and hence different biomes. This is a unique country having much variation of soil, climate, vegetation, flora and fauna. The cultural and genetic diversity of this country is a great attraction for foreign tourists, visitors. 3.5 Summary. Biomes are climatically distinct regions having specific plant and animal species. Very broadly, the biomes of the world can be divided into terrestrial and aquatic. There are 10 major terrestrial biomes and these are named after the dominant vegetation of the region. The northernmost extremely cold land biome is the tundra, which is dominated by low-lying, cold-resistant plant species. There are relatively few species with a great number of individuals of each species. The taiga is a biome dominated by coniferous trees and is found like a circumpolar belt on the continents in the northern hemisphere. The temperate deciduous forest is a biome dominated by broadleaf trees that shed their leaves during the cold winters. The summers are warm and moist in these biomes. Temperate shrublands occur in coastal regions marked by winter rainfall and summer droughts and are dominated by evergreens adapted to these conditions. Grasslands occur where the rainfall is more than deserts but less to support forests, in the dry interiors of the continents like America, Asia, and Australia. Deserts have hot days and cold nights with very little rainfall. Plant and animal species found here are very well adapted to these conditions. In the tropical regions, grasslands with scattered trees are known as the savanna. The tropical regions with maximum plant and animal species are the tropical rainforests where high temperature and rainfall permit plants to grow throughout the year. In tropical areas where rainfall is high but seasonal, monsoon forests or deciduous forests occur. The aquatic biomes of the world can be classified as freshwater and marine according to the salinity of the waters. The freshwaters biomes are the stream, rivers and lakes and animals and plant species are adapted accordingly. The marine biomes consist of the oceans, coastal regions and islands. The distribution of animals and plants is limited by availability of light and nutrients. Some specialized marine biomes are the coral reefs, estuaries and wetlands. The Indian subcontinent has a lot of variation in climate, soil type and therefore, in vegetation. This is the reason why all the biome types of the world find a representation here. Thank you for watching. We will see you in the next video, with next chapter.